Uh-oh. Well, we're not ready.
Ooh, we are red.
Is it 6?
It's 6:01.
Yeah.
We don't have a point.
Must be true.
What you got in that Starbucks cup?
Espresso.
Espresso.
Told me I had a holiday cup.
I don't know a lot about coffee, but isn't espresso like the little ones?
There's a few shots in it.
Yeah, because I feel like anytime I've seen espresso, it's like little.
It's called an
You pull-
Americano. I think it got like,
Are you pulling an all-nighter?
no, man, I go to sleep. Like, I drink coffee and it goes straight to sleep.
Yeah, well, I mean, do more Cali sessions, Felicia.
Oh, you run that's hilarious. All right, you grab that one.
Yeah.
All right, it is 6:05. We will call our meeting to order. Miss Jacqueline is out today, so we got anybody that could be secretary tonight since Jacqueline's out?
I'll jot down some.
Alright, we got.
My writing is not there to me.
Hey, I was a teacher for several years, so I've seen some ugly stuff, but if we make it work. Cool, we'll jot down the notes and then we'll email them to Jackie and she'll compile them for our minutes, alright? I think last month we held over the minutes from October. And so I'm sure they were mailed out. Hopefully you guys had a chance to take a look at those. So, we need to approve those. So, anybody got anything? All right, so. anybody make a mo-
First, a motion approved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, cool. One. All right, yeah, we made some edits to the agenda. The date is November 9th. And then the bullets for discussion and pre-planning actually will be taken care of under old business. And so that's where we are now. But it's old business, starting with the January working meeting.
So we will start in January. We will have 2 new members for sure, because 2 terms are up. So we'll have 2 members. And then we will have an additional member because Mr. Corey.
I was supposed to break the
I'm so
news.
sorry.
Wow, I was saving it for new business.
Oh.
Corey.
Y'all just gonna drop it
Well,
on?
we here now.
We go ahead now. So
No, we'll save it for new business.
Okay, so we'll save that for new business,
Suspense.
but we will have new members, and so we will talk about the bylaws, because the bylaws will change just a little bit, so we'll have new bylaws.
Okay.
We did an ordinance for council to where we put all of boards and commissions kind of rules, regs under an Article 1, and then we did an Article 2, and that's where you guys can add anything new that y'all want to add for this board. So we'll work on that, and then we'll discuss attendance review and then upcoming projects for the city. The one thing that I want this board to think about, and I didn't discuss this with Shawana, but one thing I want y'all to think about is community engagement and where can you guys fit the Diversity Advisory Council in community-wise, or even within the city. So kind of like thinking how to plug yourself in a way. And I guess we'll kind of sketch that out, but that was just something that I thought about. Again, as we continue to go, there'll be new things that'll come along. And so just kind of like we're doing with the art board, the tree board, the BPAP, we're kind of like looking at projects that we have going on. You know, how can we get you guys involved in some of that? And I'm not for sure how, but again, we'll throw some ideas on the board and see what sticks. So that's what I have for the January working meeting, is a longer meeting to flesh out your calendar for the year of 2024. We know we have Culture in the Park and we know we have the Community Roundtable, but what else do you see for 2024? Or what else do you see for the future of this board? And kind of start thinking about that. So when we come in that meeting, you guys will have ideas and say, hey, we could do this, or can we do that? And just kind of bounce all that around so that we'll get a fresh start at the beginning of the year and start working through that throughout the year.
Who are the 2 people terming out?
Jalen and Jackie actually are the 2 that terms out. Not saying that they will not get reselected, but we have to look at all nominations that were received.
Oh, I thought when they said it was an optional, like when we did it, like you said, you had your first, and you got the option for a second.
You do. You
Okay,
can be
for a second,
you can be
4 years.
nominated again. So you can be you can put your nomination in again to be back on the board again.
Okay.
But that has to be recognized with those who
You have to be
apply.
approved. Yes,
Yeah.
but it has to be. It's a whole group
Yeah.
of nominations, so you have to look at all the nominees for the board.
So is that something you 2 do, or just the
No,
board
that's
do
something
it?
the mayor does.
The mayor does it? Okay.
Right. And extended, I think last time we talked about 2 hours or so, expecting
I think an
that
hour and a half.
Yeah.
At least. Mhm.
for the January meeting. So just wanted to make note of that, so as we plan. Will we still want to start it at 6? Look at, we all good with that?
I'm good with it.
The January meeting. I don't know. Whatever
I think
time.
5:30, 4:30. Whatever time.
I'm good with 5:30 if y'all can do that.
January is fine for me. It's
Is
not my
everybody good with
busy
that?
season.
Yeah.
Okay.
It doesn't matter.
If we're gonna go a little
We're
longer,
here anyway.
30 minutes
Oh,
earlier.
Yeah. That way we can just knock it out.
I'll be here in spirit.
So I'll note the time in January at 5:30.
Yeah, I'm saying that's fine. So cool. So we'll look at doing that, and we'll cover the things that Ms. Felicia has already talked about. We spent a little bit of time last week. It felt like last week, last month, talking about the review for culture in the park and the goods, things that we can improve, and things like that. Is there any additional comments or business concerning culture in the park?
For me, I think we need to confirm if we're keeping which park. So if we're keeping
Location.
MLK, that's fine. We just need to know that so that we can start working out how we plan the event in the park. Where you see 1152 at, hopefully next year there'll be a restroom there. And so we will not be able to use that area because there'll be a restroom there.
I mean, my opinion, I think it's a good idea trying to use that park, but with what it's used for, our planning is hard. From what we do, the space, and if the weather predicts us being able to use that spot so much,
Yeah.
I think that if we went to a place that isn't, so determined on the weather, I think it might make our planning a little easier.
Yeah, because even if you have a bright, shiny day,
It's
if
still
it rained a
wet.
few
If
days
it rains a few
before,
days before, it's still gonna be wet.
because
It can be
Because
2
that's
weeks
what it does.
it does what it's supposed to do.
It does,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So, that's a great example. Like one good rain could mess that park up for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then we can't
or more,
reschedule.
Yeah.
and then you got to
Yeah.
reschedule, and then you got the
Yeah.
same thing that we had this year that we had to reschedule it 2 times, and we felt like we lost a little of the momentum because we kept having.
Yeah, and I think this year we would pick the date and that's the date. And
That's
if it
nice.
rained or whatever, we would be doing it next year. We wouldn't have a rain date. Like,
Okay.
so if we did MLK, I think that would be, that'd be us.
Fight an uphill battle. My concern, and I agree with you, my concern is the stage. We're gonna need a stage, and I guess the only 2 options are MLK. What about, is this park available, the Veterans Park?
It could be available. The one thing about Veterans Plaza is it's a busy park.
Okay,
So you'll have people walking
yeah,
throughout that park. So when you're trying to have an event and trying to structure
yeah,
things, that one, we've not had a big event there, so I'm not for sure how well
that would play out.
that would work.
I was just thinking about the stage.
And it's not really a stage. Well, it's a stage, but it's not a stage.
Yeah.
If you go look
Yeah.
at it, so if you're sitting in an amphitheater, there's not really a lot of room at the front.
Yeah,
So it could have challenges.
Random thought. What if we picked a date and we reserved?
Both parks.
No. What if we reserved either the sports or the McGee on the same day
The inside of.
for a backup? If it rains, we can move stuff and say we still have that date. We're not changing anything. We're just changing location. It may not work as good for the food trucks or stuff, but it was raining, but we could still do the activities that we have and stuff that we were planning to do. We could do it still the same day, just inside.
Well, on the flyer, you could put rain location.
On
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
If raining, it's at Don Owens. If raining, it's
So
at
we're at
McGee.
Don Owens though. Are you saying on the courts?
Yeah, reserve the building that day.
It'd have to be so.
Or reserve court 1 and 2 or court 3 or. It's part of the parks and recs and they're.
It
part of
is,
the
but
one
it's
meeting.
rented out a lot. So that those facilities are for basketball and volleyball. They're not really for community.
You understand those days.
And
but
so
for a city,
again,
right?
no, I want everyone to have the same. I'll have to walk that one through how that would work logistically if we have league play going on that day, or if we have,
That's what I'm
it'll be a Saturday. So it would be probably a tournament that's rent both facilities.
Well, that's what I'm
So
saying. We can look at the schedule though, because and kind
I
of
wouldn't,
see
I wouldn't take it. I wouldn't take a day. Like, so I wouldn't take a league day. I wouldn't take a league.
No, I
Saturday.
wouldn't want to take one. I would say like look at the schedule and we can plan our day around.
Our day is set though. Our day is already the fourth, whatever,
Oh.
Yeah, I can't
the
remember what it
fourth
was.
Saturday of the month
Yeah.
or whatever.
Okay. Yes.
So, but I wouldn't take a league. If it's between if it's an adult league or it's mid, volleyball
If we talk to
season,
the school about the gym
that may be something we can do.
as just as an alternate, saying, hey, we may not even need it. It's a Saturday gym.
Again, the
got
Saturday that
nothing
we
going on.
gave our event, the high school it was booked.
Yeah, I'm just saying if it's just options, just
So-
inside a
Yeah.
couple inside places that we could think about that we can have and pick one and just say, hey, that's an alternate location if it rains.
Yeah.
Just to have a backup.
Yeah, I guess logistically, I would have to know like how that would work logistically with knowing the location, knowing the setup, how we're going to do it. Again, we depend a lot on bouncy house, so we would have already rented a bouncy house,
Mhm.
and so no, yeah, just logistically, I'd have to like work that out in my head.
Well, because you'd have to figure out what the timeline is of like your go, no go.
Yeah.
That's why I did kind of like truly, like if it rains, it's a rain out. I mean, it's just, the event's just rained out.
Because the other piece that you have is like, some people may think of like different levels of comfort about being outside, right? So like some people might be still trying to do it like this. Other people, it's sprinkling.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
So the communication piece of like where
Yeah.
it is might be confusing too.
And again, we had so much momentum when we first announced, and then to keep moving.
Yeah.
I think the one thing that we clearly heard from everyone was, if it's on September 29th and you don't have it, then just cancel it. That was literally like the consensus of everyone who took the time out to reach out to us to tell us about the changes. We was like, we couldn't help the changes. We didn't just change because, we didn't want to do it. There was reasons, but again, people did have very strong opinions about the changes.
Wait, people have strong opinions?
Huh?
Wait, people have strong opinions?
Yeah, they did. They had very strong. It had a lot. It had great momentum. I will say that a lot of people were very excited about it in April, and then we put the date out there for August, and they were like, "But it's 109 degrees though," and then like. Again, some people's comfort level was like,
Yeah.
okay, it's 109.
I'll sweat it out.
Let's go out
Yeah.
there. Let's have fun.
And this is football practice.
Yeah.
The whole wet glow.
So yeah, I just think logistically, I wouldn't want to lose. Like it's a rain day the day before. We're trying to say, hey, it's going to be at the McGee Center. We're trying to blast that out. I wouldn't want us. And then 12 people showed up. I wouldn't want to have done all of that to not have.
But like he was saying, like if it was on the fire and event, this is where it's at. But if it's raining, like already put it out.
Like you say, if it's raining, but then like if it's sprinkling, like, well, are they still at Fifth Avenue because it sprinkled early this morning? It looks like it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
It's just
There will
overcast.
be questions, yeah.
It would be a lot of questions logistically when you have events. Again, TOSA goes on regardless, and you know that. Like, if it's raining, like, well, I can still go down there and probably get some lemonade. Because so I think just again, logistically.
But it never
working
rains
out.
on Tosa.
Yeah, logistically, it never rains on Tulsa. Logistically working out to where rain or shine, we're going to give it. I think
Yeah.
we would have to definitely, again, because it was a lot of work that went into that day. And then to
Change it.
yeah.
So what part of Fifth Avenue you say will be, did you say something
So
will be
Fifth
different?
Avenue is this big square is going to go away. That was what we could use as a nice stage. And
Which one? I'm sorry, the blue?
The blue one.
Okay.
Mhm.
Y'all getting rid of that?
It's going to go back. It used to be a tennis court.
Uh-huh.
And so it's just going to be pickleball courts. So that will go away. So to have pickleball courts in the middle of that, you still have a lot of green space, but you don't have a stage. You have those two pavilions, turn them into a thing.
I mean, it'd be worth
Yes.
asking, like, no matter what the location is, like a question that could be asked of a business would be like sponsoring a stage. 'Cause I mean,
Yeah.
you wouldn't need much. I mean, you could probably do
No.
just
Just a
16.
Yeah,
Yeah, just
yeah.
something,
Platform,
yeah,
yeah.
it wouldn't be, yeah.
6-8 inch platform stage
Manageable.
and
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got parking and room for food trucks.
Yeah.
You do, I mean,
Yeah.
you do have, I mean, we would probably do the same thing we did, we'd probably do food trucks.
Oh, it's spread out. It's all around.
Yeah.
no, but well, if you park in the grass, but over there you get 50, 60 cars over there. You about done.
Over here
Yeah.
at Fifth Avenue.
Yeah, the parking's not. It looks like there's
Yeah.
more parking there than there is. I don't know how much time you have spent over at Fifth Avenue.
No, I'm over there almost every day. I was over there today. It's my park. I come over there all the time. I think it has lots of parking compared to MLK Square.
Oh, maybe it's over there. Yeah, it's over there.
Yeah.
We had this event at
more than-
MLK
it's
Square,
more than Laurel.
so it's more than Laurel Park.
More than Laurel. Laurel ain't got. Yeah,
Laurel got
that. None of our parks got much parking.
I mean, so compared to those park, I mean, you have
Because the
4
hope is that
parking
people are walking
spaces.
and biking to the park.
I mean, you have
That would
parking.
be nice.
You have parking here. You have parking up here at both pavilions, and then you have this parking, which this
You could
parking
park at
here.
Airport Park and just walk over.
You could park. People park all the way around by Oak Street, but we would probably use this like as a food court and square. We'd have all the food trucks down here in this
Nice.
area,
Okay.
and then have tables and chairs out maybe here.
But
It's on
It's to- yeah.
6
Old Airport.
Down. If I knew how to drive, which way am I going?
West.
Which has no parking, but
Yeah.
let's not talk about parking over there.
Oh,
that's where we practice.
Oh, yeah, I'm like, let's not talk about parking over here.
That's what we.
But it's all
I,
green.
I park right next to that dude house.
Yeah,
Right
501.
I drive into the
all
field
green
all the way
space
up by the
now.
grass.
All green space.
By that
Old school
time-
coach.
by
Right on
that
the
time,
field.
any construction that's going
Those
on
headlights are you
over
play
near the
lights.
old airport, that won't affect anything, will it?
No,
Okay.
seriously.
Sound wise and okay.
Oh, they look by what's the date again?
September
Si-
2020.
Yeah, they'll be leased by that
Okay,
point.
okay, good.
We'll be almost done, so.
All right.
So there's options. I mean, again, I think we can make any park work. I think at January, we just need to kind of decide if we're going to do a rain location again. I'm probably not really willing to do any centers if there is a leak place. So I'll talk to Andrew about what happened this September. Well, I know there was a leak because we had some of the workers, they were pulled from the center. So I pulled 2 from the centers because they had enough over at Don Owen. So I know there was a tournament there the weekend that we had our event.
Well, we're shooting for April this year.
We're still shooting for September. No, I don't think the date changed. I think we thought September.
The weather, I mean,
The-
it's not too hot.
Yeah, I think.
And this September, I mean, this April again, it rained. I mean, so any park would have been out because it rained. And MLK was just out because it was
Yeah.
late, but
I think as we moved things around, we had Tulsa, you had graduations. There was several things that started
Yes.
rolling.
Yeah.
Back to back.
And once
Back
we
to
pick
back.
a location, it does open up dates. But that's what it was last time.
Mm-hmm.
MLK was gonna be a wash for the most part in the spring.
oh yeah, it stayed. I mean, it stayed pretty full. I mean, it's a detention bond, so it was fine for most of the spring.
So we'll nail down a location.
So now down a
and date.
location, if you want to do an alternate location again, how does that work logistically? Do we still do the same thing where we have music and everything? So making sure we can accommodate the entire event indoor would be the question for me.
And then if we chose Fifth Avenue, we have to look at staging and how we set things up.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, cool. Any other discussion for culture in the park for tonight? All right. Community roundtable is another thing that was on the on our list for this year that we didn't.
So that's what's going to move to
Yeah,
April, is the cultural conversation will move to April. And so in January, just come with maybe some ideas of a topic, of who you'd like to see on the panel, or if you want a panel, or you want it to be, however you want to sketch it out, kind of come with that in mind. Even if you want a different topic, we don't care. Now, the thing about April is, I don't know if you guys know, but City Hall was flooded, and so we do not have a city council chambers. It is unavailable. So we'd have to have a location for this event as well. We could always do it at the expo. What was this, April?
I didn't even think about that. What if we did I know I'm going backwards, but the country park at the expo.
That's not a,
That's a lot of space though.
yeah, to cover, but we
don't need
Can
all
you
that.
you have to
section
rent
it
out,
off?
yeah.
You can put they got the big old sheet curtains. We can go in there and use the
Who
part
got
we
sheet
want.
curtains? Oh, you're talking about the inside.
The inside curtain. If we don't need the whole, come on, man. I got the big old
I see you processing like what?
I got those big old rolling
Tell me
curtain
about
things,
those
man. We
sheet
can
I'm
block
going
off
up
the
there
front.
Monday, but I'm like, man, not tell me about cheaper.
They don't got them out all the time. This is when you need to use a section.
Yeah.
They block off the
Yeah.
rest.
The Taste of Conway and the Business Expo, they had all those.
Yeah.
Well, let me
They
tell
bring
you,
those in. That does
pipe
not-
and drape,
Pipe and drape is,
Well,
it's
it adds up.
Money.
quickly.
They got it though.
You're saying in the
No.
event center. He's talking about in the event center portion, have the event over there. We're talking about the expo.
Oh, okay.
You're talking about the.
I was
event.
like, man, if they got that, we haven't been using.
That's why I said I didn't even know I'm going out there Monday because they told me they had no kind of curtains. You're talking about the event center. You feel like it's
Event rentals.
yeah.
That is a good idea, an option.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't think it's centrally located enough for me.
It's
like,
not.
I think
I mean,
it's
it
too
is.
far
It-
out.
it
I think,
is.
Yeah, because if you're thinking about like equity, like it'd be,
Mhm.
I mean, you technically could walk out there, but
How? Is it sidewalk?
that's what I'm saying. You technically
Oh,
could walk out
okay.
there.
But it's not really.
But I agree
something you
with
it's
wanna
not
do.
really like.
You
Yeah.
have families walking out there.
It's not centrally located, but you got parking, you got grass, you
You
got
do.
inside option, you got outside
I wish
option.
you. I wish you
What do you
would
have
have.
against
I
the
wish you had
parks?
been at the event. I think you would have a different take on the event itself. I think you had to. You got to know your audience, and so I think that the audience that we're pulling is more MLK, Fifth Avenue. You're going to pull those families. If you give it at Fifth Avenue, you're right there in the neighborhood with tons of families. So I think that I think if you had seen the event, you could kind of. It's not an expo event. It's not an event center event. It's not.
No, I get what you're saying on that aspect of
You're what-
the demographic of what we're pulling. I get that part of it, 100%. I'm looking at I'm thinking of a location that there's no cancellation.
Right,
It's
I know,
happening
I know,
regardless.
but cancellations happens. I mean,
Well, but even if the other part that we've not really talked about with the rain location is just because you have a backup location doesn't mean people still want to get out
there you go.
I'm saying
and
that's
go to the backup
Right.
location.
No,
And
but
that's
I'm saying
kind of
that's
what that was kind of when people called. That was kind of again, pick a date. It's on that day. It's not on that day.
Yeah, that's why I was saying it's not a backup if you just did it there. That was your location. We can either have it inside or outside. That's the location no matter what.
Well, but what I guess I should have been more clear. So if it's raining,
Some people just ain't gonna come out. you know?
yeah, well, man, I don't know.
Again,
Like,
it's a lot.
The
it's a
value
lot-
add has to be
Yes.
here
Yes.
for people to be like, yeah, I'm gonna get that because if if the target audience is families, you like you gotta load up the kids and you got it, and it's just
Yeah.
like I don't know.
That's fine.
But we're gonna discuss
We'll
that
not-
location
we'll
later
nail it
on.
down in January.
Y'all can solve that without this loud mouth.
Back to the round table. Back to the round table.
So the round table will be in spring, yeah.
The round
Subject.
table will switch to April, and
Yeah.
right now we are. We're looking at locations. I don't think it'll be a big issue, but I'm not for sure council will be back online. So we'll work that.
The location and subject.
Subject, you guys
Yeah.
can
And
toss
set up
that
how
out
we
and
want it to flow.
how y'all want it to
Yeah.
flow.
Have to come up with all that, so we can think about that
Mhm.
and bring our ideas to our January meeting. All right, any,
Corey.
yeah.
New business.
Hold on.
Sheriff,
I'm about to ask you. So this December date, let's talk about, because that's not in there, but last time we talked about meeting December the 14th. And if that's going to occur, that's why I wanted to bring it back up. If that's something that's.
So I don't know, but I will have Shawana like Slack and then see
Yeah,
the census. I'm not for sure.
yeah, because Corey sounds like he's out.
Well, no, I thought we had Callie that day,
I
but
didn't- I was-
it's the
Okay.
week before.
All right, so when Shawana gets back, we'll look at that.
I was going there too. I was like, is that a Cali thing?
Yeah. So now, new
Okay.
business.
New business.
So I'll be rolling off. I've enjoyed my time here, and I think it's an important initiative. But I think as I reflect, and this is something that I talked about with Shawana and Felicia after I technically already finished my term after I finished my first term. But jokes aside, I think that for me, through work and other ways, I have the opportunity to have my voice heard. May it be in an official capacity or in passing or whatever. And I think that the most important thing that this group can do is elevate voices of the Conway community that don't have that same opportunity. Because when I think about like there's segments of our community that are not represented, and I feel like it's selfish of me to potentially occupy a seat of someone who would be better fit to reach a demographic that is not already being reached. And I could go through a laundry list of potential voices that are not represented here. Not to say that we're not all trying to be as inclusive as we can and think of all people of Conway, but I have the privilege of not being a suppressed voice most of the time. And so I think it's timely when I think about the boards and commissions timeline, like it felt right. And it's not a decision that I came to lightly. But I think that it is the most appropriate way for this board to move forward, because when I think about the composition, it looks not as reflective of the community as it could be. And so I've enjoyed working with y'all, enjoyed the official side of it, but then also the chopping it up and the having fun. But that's the decision that I made. And so I've enjoyed working with y'all and hope to continue seeing y'all. That feeling may not be mutual. But again, jokes aside, that's how I came to that decision. Even though Felicia took the wind out of
I'm
myself,
so sorry.
let the cat out of the
I'm
bag.
so
But yeah,
sorry.
I thought it was coming with good news. The way y'all presented it, not that it's not good.
yeah. No, it's just
Someone else has the opportunity. I get that.
Yeah, and again, I will say that with this board, I know that there has been conversations about how this board looks. This board looks this way because you guys took the initiative and
Yep.
wanted to be a part of this board.
yeah.
And so I feel like as people look and see you more, people look and see this is done by the Diversity Advisory Council, we will get where we need to be,
Yep.
and this board will look
Yep.
just like
Yeah.
Conway. And I
Yeah.
feel like they will. So again, we got a lot of feedback from the
Yeah.
first time we put that notice out. We got so much feedback. And so I'm hoping that feedback, we always say, boards and commissions open in October.
Yeah.
So if you want to be a part of the discussions that are happening, that's when that's when you should apply, so that again, your voice can be heard, like our voices are heard. So yeah.
Well, because and especially as I think about like the different opportunities that we have to connect, like and the information that we receive, like it can be shared
Right.
because we all have our different circles and there's some
Right.
overlap,
Yeah.
but it's just I don't know, it matters.
Well, I'm really obviously sad to see you go, but your reasoning, I said it my first time coming here, I'd like to see, and then this includes me, a more diverse
Mhm.
group, like you said, it represents our makeup of Conway. And so your reasoning, I highly respect and am happy in that respect.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But if we have a December meeting, will you be here?
Oh, yeah, look,
Okay.
this is, as I said to them in my email, it's effective 12/31. So, my term, if we have 2 meetings in December, I'll be there. Except for if it's the first week of December, because I'll be out of the country, but other than that, I'll be there.
Well, we appreciate everything.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, I'll say, we've come a long way from our first.
And we have.
Oh,
again,
my God.
again, I will continue to say that again. Every time someone says something about the makeup of this board, I will say again, you have a voice on this board.
Yeah.
So if you want to see a different makeup on this
Yeah.
board, you know boards and commissions are open
Yeah.
October 1st through the 31st.
Come on and
Make
join.
it happen.
Yeah.
So again,
Yeah.
we can only do what we can do by the nominations that we
Yeah.
receive.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Yeah.
Also, y'all are done taking,
October 1st through 31st every year, it never changes.
Yep.
Every year, October 1st
You
through
said that
31st.
fast.
Never changes. That's
And-
when boards and commissions open every year.
I will say, it seems like that has gotten wider and wider. That's not maybe not the best word to say, but like the boards and commissions application process seems like it's been more broad than what it probably ever has been. Not to say that it wasn't before, it just seems like the reach is greater and the different types of people that are involved, it just seems like
We get
it's
a lot
more.
of phone calls about boards and commissions, and so each board has almost like a walking story that we're telling when they're inquiring about what boards are open. And again, diversity is still pretty new.
Mhm.
So again, it doesn't have like, this long, story
Yeah.
behind it. So people are still kind of like, But again, I think that'll come more with community engagement, the events that we're giving. People will start to kind of feel like there is a story behind Diversity Advisory Council, and I do want to be a part of that. So, yeah.
And I think I've seen a huge, jump in interest in boards. I've had a few people that I know personally that have said, "Hey, how do I apply?" So
I've had 2 people during the application period who, one was last week through Cali, and so I don't know that I count that one as much, but where people were like, hey, I applied for this. Can you tell me more about it? And I was like, hey,
Yeah.
okay, that's good.
Walking
One,
Yeah.
you've applied. 2, you did your research on
I love
who's.
that you've applied.
It's like, come on.
That's a conversation starter for me because you've applied. So
But yeah, that was it for my new business item, Mr. Chair.
Appreciate it. Any other new business?
no, just Corey. That's
Just cool.
that's Corey.
So I guess we will have somebody new.
Yes.
Somebody new in
at
September.
least one.
At least one new face. Yeah.
Mhm.
And then up to 3 new faces.
Up to 3.
So we will see.
Even if it's the same face, isn't it new if it's a new term? I feel like
Yeah,
it's kind of.
The face isn't.
They got,
The feeling is new.
yes, it's a
New
fresh
feeling.
perspective, new lease on life, if you will.
But that's cool. And I guess one of the things, as I just listened to you guys talk, is when we say that diversity and reflect the city, then just, I guess in our January meeting, kind of talk about what does that really look like?
Yeah, I wrote that down.
Like,
I did. I
What
wrote
does that
down.
really look like?
Yeah.
If we're going to say the board been, first we know they got to apply, but
Yeah.
what does that really look like?
And I think we are a diverse board.
Oh,
I think
absolutely.
we are.
I'm sorry if I,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying. I
No,
think we
yes.
are a diverse board.
But she's brought that up that people have said that before.
Oh, yeah.
So that's why I'm like,
Oh.
what is,
Year 1, it was like, I
yeah.
said, Felicia.
Have you? And I was like, did they apply? Let me see. Again,
All
I mean,
right.
I can't. We can only do so
Yeah, you
much.
can't
Yeah.
make
We
somebody
can make
apply.
people-
On
Right.
Spanish, we did have a
We did have a
She
Spanish.
wrote,
Yeah.
We did.
wrote off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, she didn't roll off.
She didn't roll off.
She just
She resigned.
yeah.
Resigned. Same.
Oh.
That's right. She was-
Hey, hold on now. Don't be talking bad about people who resign.
What if the
okay?
interest-
I'm still in the room, and I'm the only one in here who has completed the term. I will remind
Yeah,
y'all.
You're good.
I might have drew the shortest term, but
You drew the
still.
shortest.
Exactly. You drew the shortest. Some of us drew the 4-year. I was gonna complete that. We even had 4
I'm
years.
retiring here.
Right. Hilarious.
So,
I live here now.
All right, cool. Well, if there's no other new business, then entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All right. There you go.